This series is going 6. The Oilers even things up with a 5-2 victory over the Dallas Stars in Game 4. What's up, everybody? Welcome to the Oil Stream Postgame Show presented by GCL Diesel. Tom Gazzola and Zach to come with you. Matt Kassian, our game analyst, will be joining us shortly. GCL Diesel, Edmonton's diesel fuel system specialists and providers of critical engine components for over 50 years. Oil Country rejoicing after a big win. Horrible start to the game, but they totally redeemed themselves, those Oilers did. We want to hear from you. Join the conversation. If you're listening, maybe you're on your way home from the rink, maybe you were at a watch party or a bar or restaurant, text us 780-218-9999. And of course, you're watching perhaps on our YouTube channel. You can get into the nasty chat. Hit that thumbs up on your way in, like taking off your shoes when going to someone's house party. We appreciate it. If you're listening on iHeartRadio, tune in, and the EdmontonSportsTalk.com audio player, we appreciate you. Here we go. The Oilers evening things up. We're going to get into the game story and the scoring summary and the stats, and then Matty Kassian will be joining us to help break it all down. It started terribly. 58 seconds in, Wyatt Johnston, first shot of the game, beats Stuart Skinner, a bit of a misplay, and a clean look for Johnston. He buries his 9th of the playoffs. He has been deadly this postseason for those Dallas Stars. Jamie Benn and Thomas Harley picking up the apples on Johnston's goal to break the ice. And then shortly after that, at 5:29, it would be 2-0 Dallas. Lost faceoff. Puck goes back to Miro Heiskanen. He passes it to Lindell. Lindell with the point shot. Guess who goes off of and in? Not Logan Stankoven, who they initially in-house credited to, went off of Darnell Nurse. And Darnell Nurse was off to a rough start after a rough series, after a rough postseason. But he would atone at least a little bit. Got things going in the right direction as the Oilers cut the lead in half at 13:30. Ryan McLeod going to the net. Back in the lineup with Corey Perry on his line, going to the net, taking a shot when he had a lane. Darnell Nurse also providing a little bit of, damage in front of the net. I was going to say chaos, but not really. But Darnell Nurse picking up his 3rd assist of the postseason. 2-1 Dallas at that point. Then at 16:17, Evan Bouchard off the nice shot pass by Connor McDavid. And it is 2-2. Ryan Nugent-Hopkins picking up the secondary assist on Bouchard's 6th of the playoffs, even up after 1 in the second period. The Oilers really start to pour it on and shift the momentum, and they get a shorthanded marker. These guys have been playing really good this series, very consistent, reliable, and they have chipped in with some offense as Connor Brown on a 2-on-1 finds Matthias Janmark, and he makes no mistake, beating Jake Oettinger to give the Oilers the lead at 14:31. And then shortly after that, less than a minute later, it's Leon Draisaitl depositing his 10th of the year from Hyman and McDavid. Great play by Zach Hyman. 4-2 Oilers heading into the final frame. Would this lead hold? We know that no lead is safe. Certainly not for the Oilers. We've seen them blow multi-goal leads so many times this year. And this postseason, Dallas, obviously a ferocious, tenacious, not backing down. How would they fare? Well, they did pretty good. They kept their pedal to the metal. They didn't sit back completely, and they bended, but they didn't break, or they bent, not braked, or broke. Pardon me, good English. Matthias Ekholm would score his 4th into the empty net from Connor McDavid at 18:07. 5-2 is your final. Shots on goal, 29-22. In favor of the Oilers. Face-off percent. Hey, they won the face-off battle for the first time this series. 52.5% to 47.5. Power play 0 for 1. PK 2 for 2 with the shorty. All in all, that's a net positive for the Oil. Hits 47-23. They needed that, and it was good. They won a lot of puck races and puck battles, and the hits 47-23 in favor of Edmonton, indicative of that, bringing the physical play. Block shots, 17 for the Oilers, 14 for the Stars. Giveaways, 8-6. Edmonton with 8. Dallas with 6. Takeaways, 8-7. Dallas with 8. Edmonton with 7. The numbers that matter: 5 for the Oilers in the goal column, 2 for the Stars in the goal column. And this series is even up, heading back to Dallas on Friday night. Let's get him in here. Matt Kassian, our game analyst, to help us break it all down. Text us 780-218-9999. And then, of course, get into the nasty chats. We want to get your thoughts on Edmonton's 5-2 victory. He's doing duck face. He's doing a pose for Instagram. It is Matt Kassian. And Cass, just your initial takeaways after the Oilers even this series up after what was a very frustrating Game 3 and an interesting 48 hours between games. Unmute, please, Cass.
Thank you for that, because I would have definitely not unmuted, but it smells like team spirit, Tommy. Smells like team spirit. Cooperative in here, cooperative on the ice. Well, I texted the guys, the EST guys, and so the story of this game to me is Jake Oettinger 100% absolutely led the Dallas Stars down. 100%. They probably should pull him next game. Has to have that Draisaitl goal. 100%. No way that Draisaitl goal should go in the net. No way the Draisaitl goal should go in the net. Oettinger should be pulled. Absolutely. I don't care who the backup is. That can't go in. That goal can't go in. The Janmark goal. Are you kidding me? You can't push across and make that save.
I see what we're doing here.
He needs to get pulled, Tom. He needs to get pulled. It had nothing to do with the Edmonton Oilers and nothing to do with the rest of the Dallas Stars making mistakes. It's all Jake Oettinger. Needs to get pulled right now. Absolutely.
Scott Wedgwood calling. Scott Wedgwood on line 1.
Like, give me a break. Oh, you know exactly why I'm doing that. If anyone actually pays attention to any of these, they'll know why I'm doing that. And if you're like, well, he's not doing that because I just harp on Skinner and blame him for everything.
That's exactly why you're doing that.
That's exactly why I'm doing it. Yeah. The reality, though, Tom, this game could have gone real sideways real quick.
Yeah.
And the Edmonton Oilers did a great job of clawing their way back into it and of just sticking with it. As cliche as that sounds, they grinded it out. They got physical. Darnell Nurse played very physical and played much, much, much better tonight.
Yeah.
Was engaged tonight, was nasty tonight, was jumped at the rush at appropriate times tonight. So, we talked about a response from him. I thought we got a good response from Darnell Nurse, where he went out and he played a hard game, a physical game, straight line game, and he played well. As a whole, the team had more jump, and they didn't have those big periods of let up tonight, Tom. They didn't have those big periods where they just went for like 15 minutes or 10 minutes where they just were an absolute train wreck. So overall, a much better game from the Edmonton Oilers tonight. And I think the Dallas Stars are reeling a little bit, mostly because Chris Tanev goes down with an injury, doesn't come back. And at that point, I was like, okay, let's see what the Dallas Stars do. Do they make a push with him out? Do they kind of rally around it? And it didn't feel like they had that gusto coming out of that. But overall, Tom, after a horrendous, I don't even want to say it was a horrendous start, but after a scary start, a very, very good rebound by the Edmonton Oilers and a very process-oriented game after that.
2 goals on 4 shots for the Stars. Edmonton down 2-0, and then they slowly started to turn the tide. Cast started to play the right way. We saw a lot of changes to the lineup tonight. We saw 3 players come in, 3 players get sat, and then we also saw Darnell Nurse on the hot seat. We'll just say it. He was on the hot seat. How do you think he had? I know you touched on it very briefly, but watching his game, like a lot of people were going to, especially after that pre-game availability he had that lasted less than a minute in the morning. Nurse picks up an assist. He's even at the end of the night, 1 shot, 12 hits, 19-19 time on ice. The 12 hits led the team by more than double anybody else tonight.
Yeah. Played, I thought, again, much, much better. Now, was on for goals against early, and I was like, this could not go that direction again. But like the rest of the team, he just kind of stuck with it and was very physical. Again, this was the most physical by far and away he's been in the playoffs. And I thought just in watching and it's tough. You'd have to break down. I'd have to break down a couple more plays specifically, but he just seemed to be more emotionally engaged, which maybe shouldn't be surprising after that press conference. We're like, yeah, he's mad. And then he went out and he played like he was mad. If he needs to get to that point, maybe we should just have media all over him all the time to try to get him frustrated, because he played a lot better. But
aren't we always on top of everybody at the worst times? I'm being
running everybody out of town. We run everybody out of town, Tom.
Right.
But
I've heard
Darnell Nurse played well. It was a good response game. And some people pointed out in the nasty chat, Tom, but you know how you two, Trev, what was the poll you posted before the game? Can you remind us of that?
For Trev.
Zach Tacum. Sorry, Zach Tacum's in. Zach, and it was you. Sorry, Zach Tacum. What was the poll you posted before the game? Remind everybody.
Yeah, so the poll I posted right before or during the game during the pregame show, was, do you like the lineup changes? And I think at the end of the poll, it was about 54 to 46 in favor of no, with about 110 votes.
Yeah, and I voted for the no.
Same.
In that, I didn't like it. I didn't like Darnell coming out of the lineup. I was fine with McLeod coming in. I was impartial on Corey Perry, and I was wrong. Specifically on Corey Perry, where Corey Perry came in and he played a great game. Now, I think it was right when he came out of the lineup. He wasn't playing very well, had a couple rough games. He should be back in after tonight. He played a smart game, made some very nice plays, created a bunch of scoring opportunities. Corey Perry played really well. I was impressed with his game tonight, Tom. What did you think?
I was curious to see if he would be able to go the full 60 tonight, but he looked good in the first 40 minutes, and I thought he was all right in the last period. So there's some veteran savvy there. I appreciate that. Yes, it's true. He's not as fast as he once was. Yes, he's one of the slower guys on the team, but I don't know, Kass. I always think back to if I'm a younger guy on that team and I'm looking down the bench and, maybe things are going sideways and I see a Corey Perry beside a Leon Draisaitl, a Connor McDavid, and a Vander Kane and a Zach Hyman and a Nugent Hopkins, but I see Corey Perry, I'm thinking to myself, I think if he's okay and he's calm, I should be calm. And then if he goes out there and does things the right way and trusts the process and follows and isn't blowing up and getting excited, I should be able to do that too. And I think there's value in that. And I think he was all right tonight. He made some good plays. He had an opportunity with that slapper in the first period. He blew it wide. He was around it. He was in and around that
set
goal.
Ryan McLeod for another grade A chance too.
And Nurse, to his credit, did create chaos, a little bit of it.
Yep.
I was looking for the right word earlier, but a little bit of chaos. I just saw the replay again on my TV here in the satellite studios, and good for him. Like, those are guys that they needed, and it was guys that, one, we questioned if you might be sitting out tonight, and then two, the other two coming back into the lineup and people going, I don't know about that, but totally proved us wrong, right?
Well, absolutely. Yep, absolutely. No, again, for what he needed to do from a third line guy, Corey Perry, second line guy, I guess at times tonight, Corey Perry did what he needed to do. And, you saw him around the net, saw him kind of bumping Jake Oettinger. So I'm just trying to do Corey Perry things, which was good. It was good for him to do that, and maybe brought a little bit more emotion on the Edmonton Oilers side. And sometimes that can happen when guys have been out of the lineup for a little bit and you bring them back in. It's like a shot in the arm, like from an energy standpoint, because guys are so revved up and excited. And you maybe saw that a little bit with Ryan McLeod too, where he was buzzing a little bit more than we've seen him. Obviously gets a goal, which was good to see. And those two guys were effective. What did you think of Philip Broberg's play?
Tonight was the most he's ever played in a playoff game. I'll start with that, because prior to tonight, the most he had played was like 949, and it was at one point last year in the 9 games he played in the postseason. He was averaging 6 minutes a night, 6.5 in the playoffs, and then I thought he was okay, Kass. I didn't think it was as much of a boost. I don't know if anybody really thought he would provide a boost. He made a couple of nice outlet passes. He didn't seem too skittish in his own zone. Donuts across the board from him. But when it comes to everything but time on ice, I don't even know if I'm keeping him in, Kass. Like, are you keeping him in? Like, he was okay, but I don't think you're keeping him in.
Yeah, he existed.
Yeah, he was there. He played.
He was there, and really, I mean, the bigger move with him being in the lineup and without Vinny Desharnais was working around Darnell Nurse a little bit, having him and Evan Bouchard play together, which again, a little bit of a gutsy move to break up what has been by far and away Edmonton's best pairing in Evan Bouchard and Matthias Ekholm. Not all game, but at times to split them up and have Darnell Nurse out there with that. That was a gutsy move, I thought. Another gutsy move by Knobloch. And I would assume Vinny Desharnais comes back in because you could play him those same Broberg minutes, still play him on the penalty kill. Now, the penalty kill does get the job done. Those guys work well. I mean, they more than get the job done.
Right.
Because of the shorty. But I think they do like having Vinny Desharnais in there, and maybe after a game and night of watching, he comes out and gives us a little bit more, or they know that they can work around those other pairings a little bit more if they need to manage his minutes.
I thought that them getting Kulak on the right side with Nurse, I thought that tripped them up out of the gates a little bit, Kass. Did you notice a bit of call it a learning curve or a period where they had to adjust a bit with them being on different, like Kulak on the right side with Nurse, and then Broberg in there with CC trying to feel it out. Like, I thought that they got caught a few times, and I'm like, ooh, they don't look comfortable, but they settled in after.
They settled in. They got there. There may have been a little bit of jitters from the whole team, especially with being down early and quick, where it was like, this isn't going to work. Because even that's where my mind went, right? Like those first two goals happen, you're like, oh, the lineup changes, the pairing changes, you shouldn't have done anything because you weren't horrible. Like you had 15 minutes of horrible, but it's not like you were atrocious. It's not like you got blown out. It's like, no, you had 15 bad minutes that crushed you the last game. But aside from that, you were okay. Not everyone in the lineup, but you were okay as a team. And so I will fully admit, I was just not panicking, but I was like, man, I think this game could be over. And then really, really hard to beat the Dallas Stars, 3 out of the next 4 games. But I was proved wrong in my emotional feelings and my thinking. And those guys, as you said, Tommy, they kind of settled it down a little bit and then got used to where they're playing and then started just kind of rolling a little bit as well. And I will say, the power play doesn't score tonight, but that finally was a threatening power play. Finally. Yeah,
it was. It had momentum.
And it felt like it wasn't like a sag from a momentum standpoint. It was like, we almost got it. Yeah, we didn't. We had some good chances. It didn't go in, but like it kind of makes you hungry versus like beats you down sort of thing. So I did like that power play as well.
All right, 780-218-9999. Text us your thoughts on the Oilers' 5-2 victory in game number 4. They are off to Dallas Friday night with this series even up at 2, and now we will indeed have a game 6 back in Edmonton. Let's go to this one. Says, Dear Darnell Nurse, keep hammering the Dallas Stars like the Oiler fans hammer you, and we will be happy. Okay. Andrea says, what an absolute reverse from game 3. Bad Billy chiming in says, wow, Tommy and Kass, what a win. Who is that Brown guy? Awesome game. Where has this Nurse and McLeod been? Old Legs Perry played a smart game. What a win after a scary start. Coach made the right moves. It looked like for sure. Huge win from Bad Billy. Rip City Step says, never doubted him. In Knobs we trust. And is he like a mad scientist, Kass, Chris Knobloch? Is he an evil genius? Is he getting ridiculously lucky? Like, how do we assess these moves that generally work for him? And not always, but for the majority of time, these moves that he makes have been working, and he played his hand perfectly tonight, at least for the most part.
Yeah, and you know what? I haven't heard him laugh. So I don't know if he's an evil genius. He could be. Could be.
Maybe.
I don't think he's a huge risk taker. I think if he probably would say he takes calculated risk,
Right.
calculated risk, and probably talks it through with the rest of management. Probably talks it through with Paul Coffey at length of, hey, what do you think about trying this? What do you think about trying this? And talking to the players too, because if you talk to your other coaches, if you talk to the players, it's not like you're going in and trying to surprise everybody.
Mm-hmm.
Now, on occasion, you may have to make quick decisions where you do that, but you can talk to different players and talk about what the game plan is and talk about what you're trying to do and why you're trying to do it. And so I don't know. I mean, the gamble to me was moving to pairings that you haven't really seen or haven't seen in a while. So I wouldn't say mad scientist. It's not like it's a complete gamble, but there is an element of risk there. And I don't know, Tom, maybe it's just because it's first year coach, where he feels like, yeah, I can do this. Maybe doesn't know better in some ways, doesn't know what can go wrong. Or, maybe he's just looking at this going like, I don't know. It's a good question, Tom.
All right, let's go to this one. Jason says, even though he played slightly better, sit Nurse next game for a reset. That will motivate him even more, hopefully. I don't think that's happening, Jason. I think he's satisfied with his night overall and the end result for the team. Go to Shaggy in St. Albert, says, another game where Edmonton gets away with a bad start every period in the game. It took them well into the period to get their first shot. Nurse's ass is even for the series. Saved one, scored one. The rest of his body is minus 12. Still no power play for goals for on the series, but on the plus side, no power play goals against. Finally get a third period goal in the series, even though it was an empty net goal. They need to have more complete games like in the last 50 minutes in order to survive this series. Put up or shut up to finish this series, says Shaggy in St. Albert. He's been saying that before the playoffs even started. We're going to go to Hockey Girl now. She says, now that's what I'm talking about. Kudos to Knobloch and his jumbo balls of steel for the much-needed changes with a lot of happy emojis. Thank you, Hockey Girl. Good text. KL says, what a comeback, boys. Their D structure was suffocating today, not giving the Stars any space. Knobloch putting his stamp on this team, making smart decisions, making the right switches. Best I've seen Darnell play in a while, imposing and using his skating to make plays. Broberg did not look out of place. LFG, play La Bamba, baby, from KL. C-Mac says, love it, Kass. Really enjoyed the hot start that you had with the claims. So at least somebody caught it, right?
I think there's lots of people that did, because like if we flip this, and the reason I did that is because I'm like, if with that specific, especially with that Draisaitl goal, it's like here you have one of the best goal scorers in the NHL, a guy that scored 50 goals, guy that scored, just like got over 100 points. Like he's one of the best players in the world.
Yes.
And it's like he has a shot with no pressure in a 2-on-1 situation that goes in far side low. There wasn't like a bar down beam.
Yeah.
And in Edmonton, if that goal goes in on Stuart Skinner, everyone's like, and pulling their clothes off and tearing them and, just going absolutely ham. And
Jack Campbell in there. I saw him tonight. Very nice to see him, by the way. What a nice guy.
Yeah, and it shouldn't maybe say, because I'm not trying to poke fun at Jack Campbell and playing him, but it's just like those goals, if those two goals, the shorthanded goal and Draisaitl's goal, go in on Stuart Skinner, and this is flipped.
Yeah.
The game's flipped, and the Oilers lose tonight, and those were the two goals that went in. All we're hearing in the nasty chat, and all we're hearing from people is about Stuart Skinner this, Stuart Skinner that, goaltending this, goaltending that. But we'll never hear a word of it because it's, when Edmonton's best players, just like someone named Robertson, maybe, that scores a lot of goals, that's one of the best goal scorers in the world right now too. Mm-hmm. Maybe when he scores a couple goals, it's not, hey, we don't need to go down this path longer than we already
we talk about it, and you say that because we've experienced it multiple times this season. That's why. Anyway, it's good that C-Mac and others caught on to what you were doing there off the top. Okay, let's go back into the inbox. Zach, to come, keep an eye out on interviews, okay? And let us know because we want to hear some reaction. I saw them post them really quickly on Sportsnet, so we'll keep tabs on that and get to some reaction from the team following Edmonton's 5-2 win over Dallas this series, even up at 2, going back to Dallas Friday night. Tom Gazzola, Matt Kassian, and Zach to come with you And portions of this hour, of course, brought to you by Edmonton's Best Rock 100.3 The Bear. Catch Dusty every weekday morning with Yukon and McCord, and then tune it to Jess Jackson on your way home from work. Matt Kassian, Tom Gazzola, and Zach to come with you one more time. Text us 780-218-9999 and get at us in the nasty chat if you're watching on YouTube. It is the GCL Diesel Oil Stream post-game show. Let's go to this one. It says, who was wearing number 25? Didn't recognize him. That comes in from Colson. The Liquid Beaver chiming in says, what a 50-minute performance. I have to admit, I was starting to write the obituary. Knobloch pushed all the right buttons again. Amazing. Good text, Liquid Beaver. Good to hear from you. This one says, listening from Thousand Oaks, California, home of Trevor Moore. Let's go, Oilers. Thanks for the text. Thanks for tuning in. Put it on the map, Zach, to come. Thousand Oaks, California. Any update on Chris Tanev, says our boy Barron. And Cass, I'm glad that our boy Barron brought this up because Tanev, who's an absolute warrior, blocked a shot in the second, did not play in the third. Something must be up there. Yeah. I do expect him, just because he's such a beast, to be playing on Friday night. But if he is not available, cannot play, which would be a miracle, because of how tough he is, what kind of loss would that be? And could you tell that Dallas was rattled without him going down to 5D, and one of those being Alex Petrovic?
Yeah, and I think I don't think it's Alex. It's not Alex Petrovic. It's Chris Tanev. Like it's not who you have to replace. It's who you lost in the first place. Because Tanev is like their team, when they got Tanev post trade deadline, I don't want to say they were a completely different team, because they weren't a completely different team, but they were a way more complete team. Like just the absolute depth on that right side, the flexibility they have with some of those other defensemen, but particularly with having him and Heiskanen and being able just to play those two guys for 3/4 of a game is crazy. And like Esa Lindell, and even Esa Lindell, when he moved up, all of a sudden him and Heiskanen this series were playing really well. Now all of a sudden with Tanev out, you have to start making decisions about who's going to play with who, and you just don't have that depth anymore. And Tanev has been an absolute beast in the playoffs. It's not like he's been the best offensive defenseman for them, but in terms of blocking shots, getting in lanes, shutting people down, he's been their best defenseman. So it's a massive, massive blow and a huge hole to fill, especially against an Oilers team that can score goals in bunches and that has players and lines that can burn you, especially playing at home when you have that line change and saying, okay, we're able to roll out the deep pair typically that we want against McDavid or against Draisaitl. It changes things when Tanev's out of the lineup. So who knows if he'll play or not? Tommy, as you said, very, very tough character. Depending on what it is, will probably dictate whether he plays or not, or it might not. It might just be a tape an Advil to it, stick a couple needles in it, freeze it, and go. But he might not be 100% if that's the case. We'll have to see. Not a lot to turn around here before the next game, but certainly creates a little bit more adversity for the Dallas Stars heading back home for this next game.
Tanev leading the postseason in block shots with 68 through 17 games. So he is a warrior and he is battle tested, and that is a big loss for the Stars in the third period. And then we'll see if he's good to go by Friday. Maybe like Cass said, you give him an Advil and he plays, you shoot him up. Or if it's serious enough, he cannot go. That does create a bit of a chasm on the back end for the Stars, already without Yanni Hakanpää as well. All right, we do have some audio to get to. Cass, you cool to stick around for a bit with the audio that we have?
There's been a lot of people messaging in saying we got to hear the Perry interview. So, yeah, I kind of want to.
All right, we have that. We've got that. So let's go to Corey Perry, Zach, to come and hear what he has to say following Edmonton's 5-2 victory.
Different teams, in terms of the response that your team had tonight, is that up there in terms of what you've seen?
Yeah, I don't think you could ask for more. I mean, tough start. It's the first goal, it's a high flip over G. The second one hits the guy in the rear end and in the corner and goes in the net. Those things you can't draw up. But after that, I thought we responded well and kept the kept our foot on the pedal and just kept plugging away, and it's a great win.
Corey, it just seems like every move Chris and this coaching staff has made this year when it comes to lineup changes and switches has worked out. What is it about the players that want to reward the coach when he makes a change and he has to trust some guy to come back and win?
Well, yeah, I mean, when you do get pulled out of the lineup, it's a tough pill to swallow. But you put that aside, and when you get your name called again, you come in and you just you work hard, and that's. I think you can talk for myself and for Clowder. It was about being hard on the puck, winning our battles, and that's all we were trying to do.
Did you feel like your group rallied around Darnell a little bit today? It's been a couple of days where there's lots of noise around him.
I haven't heard anything about him.
Even Connor Brown just kind of said like everybody coming at him, and he played really well that last 50 minutes.
Well, he has played well, and personally, I don't know what you're talking about, but he's a big part of our group, and he's a big voice in this dressing room, and when he's playing like that, it's great for us.
Down 2-0. How'd you guys regain control of that game?
Well, like I just said, it's a tough bounce for that second goal, and we never got down. Stu made some big saves for us. I don't know if Hintz on the breakaway missed the net or he saved it, whatever it was. That backdoor play, he made a big save. If he doesn't do that, we don't have a chance. But so you got to start there, and on the bench, we never got down. It's we just kept pushing. We knew if we played our game, we were going to get some chances, and we capitalized on those.
The push from the Stars has been a bit of an issue early in the series. They come out in the third period, a push is coming, and it never gets really hairy in the third. It never gets out of control. Is that a step forward for you?
That's a huge step. You learn from things that happened in the past, and you use that to your advantage, and I thought we did that tonight. I mean, we played above them in the third period. That's how you have to play against these guys. You let them behind you, they're gonna kill you off the rush, and in the third we did the right thing.
It's a 2 out of 3 series here. You got 2 games in Dallas. How's this team feel about its chances of winning the series and getting to a cup?
Well, we're looking at the next game first, and that's what matters. We're not looking forward. We know what's at stake, and it's a fun time of year to be playing.
Have you ever seen a penalty kill have this much of a say in 3 rounds of a playoff year for a team?
No, I don't think so. But they have a lot of confidence, and we have a lot of confidence at PK. They've done a heck of a job through the first 3 rounds here. And, you got to give them a lot of credit. They're sacrificing their body. They're blocking shots. They're making plays on the PK, and we got a huge goal on a shorthanded goal that that's momentum in a game, and we needed that.
Corey, I apologize if you've been asked this, but is the third period the most rewarding part of this game, the way you guys shut down the third?
Yeah, like I was just saying, we were above them all third period, and we didn't let them in behind us. And to play against these guys, you have to be above them. You can't let them play off the rush. That's where they kill you.
And how have you handled these last 2 weeks? Like, obviously, it's really tough for you to be not in the lineup. And how tough was that for you, and how did you manage that?
It's obviously it's tough. Played a lot of games in this league, but like I said earlier when I got here, you check your ego at the door and you just plug away and you work hard off the ice. You be ready when your name's called, your number's called, and put on the board. And I found out yesterday morning, and I was happy to be back in and do anything to win.
Okay, that was Corey Perry, career playoff game number 207. Not a lot of guys play that many games in the postseason. He's won a Stanley Cup. He's won international gold medals, represented our country. He's been an MVP in this league. The guy's basically done it all, and that was an interesting interview. The thing I liked about what he said was talking about the third period, saying they stayed above the Stars in the third. They knew they had to stay above them, and they actually executed on that, because going into that third period, Cass, I'm like, I don't know. Like, Edmonton, this is kind of a rubber match. They go back and forth, the bounces, and you don't know what to predict. I think Wayne Gretzky said the only predictable thing about this series is it's so unpredictable. And then the other thing, like the Darnell Nurse, I didn't hear anything, no idea what you're talking about. Okay, hilarious. Not true, obviously.
Hey, you're standing up for your boy. I have no problem with that answer. Yeah. No problem with it. Yeah, they did do a good job of staying above in the third. And it's an interesting situation because you still want to play aggressive when that, but you have the lead, so it's like, okay, we don't need to take any unnecessary risk, but you want to push enough that you're still turning pucks over. You're just not letting the other team make plays. And I thought they did a decent job of that, or a good job of that in the third, of just because Dallas didn't really. I'm trying to think back. I don't think they really had maybe one grade A chance, if that.
A couple of looks in the third, maybe
third,
a
but
couple of looks,
not
nothing
serious
crazy.
ones though. So yeah, they did a good job of staying on top of it and not giving up anything. Well, applying enough pressure to still turn pucks over and have a little bit of ozone time.
Honestly, them only giving up maybe a couple of looks, I think that's the first time this series we've been able to say that in a period of a game in this series, because generally Dallas has been able to push and find little cracks and seams and take advantage and get great opportunities most periods. But maybe in that third period, that was a difference for sure. All right, keep those texts covered at 780-218-9999. We're going to get to a couple more, then go back inside the Oilers locker room. They win at 5-2 over the Dallas Stars. This series even up at 2, going back to Dallas for Friday night. It is the GCL Diesel Oil Stream post-game show. Tom Gazzola, Matt Kassian, and Zach to come with you. GCL Diesel, proud suppliers of genuine OE products from manufacturers like Bosch, Denso, Garrett, Borg-Warner, and Cass's favorite, Wholeset. Check them out, GCLDiesel.com. Let's go to Grumpy Cat. Says 12 hits. What a cathartic night for Nurse, or a little cathartic for Nurse tonight. Good to see him be better. We're going to say be better. Sean texting and says, holy cow, this coach puts the knob in Coach Knobloch. His lineup changes have paid dividends more often than not. We'll go to Mike in Thunder Bay, who stayed up late tonight, says, how about the expletive cojones on Chris Knobloch? Any bigger and those things would have their own gravitational force. McLeod and Perry were both very noticeable. Broberg was solid as well, and his minutes were earned. Knobloch kept this team focused, and they had an amazing comeback. There is no quit in this team. What a win. Mike in Thunder Bay. And then RBM says, LOL, that was so expletive deflating, giving up that quick 2-0 lead so early. But what a response. Nurse had a beast of a game. Good for him. Happy for him, too. I'm cheering for him big time with all that garbage noise going on around him. All right. YouTube Trev went to the game. Zach to come in studio for YouTube Trev. Let's go back inside the Oilers locker room. And Zach to come, who is next?
I would like to play Connor Brown that we have here because he had a fantastic game. So let's hear what he had to say after the win.
Better, but finds a way to get better and scores a huge short-handed goal.
Yeah, it was a big goal. We feel good about each other on that kill. We were trusting each other. Unreal play by Doc there to win that battle and spring us. A lot to be said about Darnell. Everyone and their dog coming at him this morning. 2 tough bounces to start the game, and he settles in and plays probably his best game of the playoffs and leads us to a victory. So that's character right there.
You're talking about the start. It's been an odd series of long stretches of one team kind of owning it, and then that's what happened early, and you guys found a way to bounce back. Was that discussed? It's been kind of that series. How were you able to overcome that?
Yeah, that's exactly what we discussed in here. Momentum. I mean, they're a great team. They're going to grab momentum at times in this series. It's about what we do to go grab it back, and I think we had guys, jumping over the boards trying to get the momentum back, not trying to you don't need to make a flashy play or anything, just simple, hard, win your battles, win your races, and we were able to hold the momentum and a great third period.
Connor, it seems like every time Chris Knobloch makes a move, lineup change, otherwise, it seems to work out. What is it about this coaching staff that they're playing all the right cards with?
Well, I think that obviously he's doing a good job. I mean, it's not easy his first time in the playoffs. He's making gutsy calls, and credit to the guys. It's not easy to come off from the press box, right into the second line, playing on Leo's wing. And they did an unbelievable job. That line was the best line tonight for us, and it was a gutsy win.
When a coach shows trust in a player like that coming in, and does the player want to reward for a situation?
Well, I think it's the players trying to play their best no matter what the situation is. Obviously, when you get trust from your coach, it empowers you. So, that's something you said about that.
When you guys passing there on that
Yeah, I thought that the D-man was kind of shaded over to me, and kind of give Janitor a bit of a shit burger there. He adjusted, but it was a great play by him. But I so I'm just kind of reading what he gives me.
Your team has done really well when faced with going down 2 games in a series here. Like your ability to kind of at the moment has been pretty strong, Connor. Where do you think that's coming from? Well,
I think it stems from the beginning of this year. We were in dead last. We faced adversity all year, so it's gotten to the point where we're thriving under that adversity. We're welcoming it, and I think it's shown here whenever we need a response.
The crowd has been great all playoffs long, but they seemed exceptionally loud tonight. How was it to have them behind you tonight?
It was great. I mean, we love playing at home. These are the best fans in the NHL. They're loud, supportive. They're proactive. They try to get us momentum when we need it, and we feed off that. So. They're doing their job.
About how Corey's handled not being in the lineup for 5 games.
Well, he's an absolute pro, and he's a leader. I mean, he didn't stop going about his business. He continued to lead. It's never easy to come out of the lineup. Everyone wants to play. We're all competitive. We got an incredibly deep group here, so there's tough decisions, but. Obviously, it doesn't need to be said about his character, and he showed that tonight.
When you're killing all those penalties, one after another, and you get the chance to score shorthanded, when you're thinking, okay, we're really going to make it pay now. We're doing such a good defense.
Well, I mean that's a big momentum shift. Obviously, when you can not only kill a penalty, but when you can pot one. So, obviously, we take pride in it.
All right, that shit burger to Janmark was Connor Brown's 4th point of the postseason in his 10th game, 3rd assist. He's also got a goal, and fiercely defending Darnell Nurse off the top. A lot was said there. It was a pretty good interview. Cass, what did you take away from that one?
Well, same thing. Defend your teammate. Defend your boy. Do it. Great. Good. They should. I'm happy they did. If anything, it pulls people together and fires Nurse up and fires other guys up, and that's good. It's good. I didn't think that pass was as bad as you made it sound.
It landed nice.
Like it was a little wobbly. It was a little wobbly sauce, but when it hit the ice, it actually sat flat for Janmark. So I thought it was actually ended up being nice. It wasn't a horrible pass, but hey, one in the net. That's what matters. He seemed really fired up. Ginger Ninja.
Yeah, he did.
Yeah, he was
snorting there a bit.
Yeah, he was going, which was good.
Okay.
But hey, he mentioned, he thought it was Darnell Nurse's best game of the playoffs, and I think it was too. By far, I thought it was Darnell Nurse's best game of the playoffs, and I thought it was Connor Brown's best game of the playoffs too. Both those guys, and Brown is actually he was strung together a number of games where he's been pretty solid.
True.
So yeah, I hope that they keep the emotion going and that they keep that energy going. I hope they do. I hope Brown does.
That was a fun interview. That was nice to hear him say it like how he truly feels. And Brown, I put it out there on Twitter when he made that play. The Oilers scored shortly after the nice play to Leon Draisaitl from Zach Hyman, but I put it out there. Is Brown greater than 06 Pekka? It's a bit tongue-in-cheek, but he made a nice pass, which he called a crap burger, to Janmark on that goal. But it is good to see him waking up, Cass, and maybe a new sense of he gets that clean slate in the postseason, and maybe that has helped him kind of spur him on, and it's good to see because he looks like a guy playing with way more confidence, which is great, especially if you're an Oiler fan. Okay. 780-218-9999. Text us. Of course, get into the nasty chat. It is the GCL Diesel Oil Stream post-game show. Gazzola and Kassian with Zach to come. Cass is going to bounce right away. Edmonton going into Friday night's game number 5 in Dallas. Cass, what's the messaging from the coaching staff? How are the players preparing themselves? Anything different going back to Big D? Is there a renewed sense of confidence? I don't know. I don't know because of how unpredictable this series is, but what would your sense of this be?
Well, hey, it's all unpredictable, but it's a 3-game series now. And you're basically going to go and you're going to say, great job, wipe the slate, then it's a new one again. Dallas is going to be better. That's what probably they're going to say. Dallas is going to be better. They're going to push more. We have to be ready. We have to bring our best game. and it's a 2-game series. You win the next one, you put yourself in the driver's seat, coming back home, and you want to be in the driver's seat coming back home. That's what you're going to say. I mean, it's. I think you're going to talk a little bit about your physicality, how that seemed to help, how you seem to control the game better when you were more physical with the Dallas Stars, and you're running with that.
Face-offs, Cast, how important they finally win the face-off battle slightly, but still, I think that's an important thing. But how much does that help? And then the other thing too, if Tanev's out, how much of a hole will that create for the Dallas Stars? And then how does the Oilers team go about trying to get that third win in hostile territory?
Yeah, I mean, the Tanev thing is huge. That's huge. The Dallas Stars are not nearly as good of a team with him out of the lineup. So we'll have to see what happens with that. As I said, with you, I suspect if he's able to play or close to being able to play, he's going to play. But we'll have to see and what type of Tanev you get. But yeah, it's, Dallas is going to be better again. I think they're going to look at this one and they're going to say, we should have had it. We were up 2. Yeah. And then Edmonton pushed and we didn't push back. That's going to be their thought. So, Jamie Benn in particular, Seguin, some of those veteran guys, they're going to push. And they're going to push next game, regardless of if Tanev's in or out. So I don't know, Tommy, but it's going to be another fun one. I can tell you, it's going to be another tight game. Yeah, where 1 or 2 mistakes are going to be the difference between winning or losing. And yes, as I can't remember who it was that just said in the nasty chat, it would be nice if the Oilers PP still wasn't a poo-poo. Although I didn't think it was tonight. They didn't score, but it was good when they had their opportunities. Yeah,
minimal chances again. But Cass, highly entertaining series, unpredictable, and I'm sure it's going to be more of the same on Friday night. Rest, recuperate, have a great 2 guys and a goalie show tomorrow, and then we'll catch up with you Friday, my friend. All right?
Absolutely. Sounds good.
There's our game analyst, Matt Kassian, helping us break down Edmonton's 5-2 win in game number 4 over the Dallas Stars. This series knotted up at 2 as it heads back to Dallas. How you feeling, Oil Country? What did you like about tonight? What things really stood out to you? How has your confidence risen substantially when it was probably pretty low going into this game today? Let us know your thoughts. 780-218-9999. Let's go to Cal in the park. Texting in says, what a game. Did you see my pregame text? Did losing Desharnais hurt the PK? Nope. +1. Henrik owned the dot, so they did not miss Carrick. Perry and McLeod, big nights. Knobloch is punching the right buttons. Looking forward to game 5. That's from Cal in the park. AD says, good win. Keep playing aggressive. Edmonton had 47 hits to Dallas's 23. Good on Knobloch to make lineup changes when he sees things aren't going well. 80 with that one. Let's go to Library Pat now. Says, Cass is a beauty. I love it, Library Pat says. Coach Mike says, tough start, great recovery, great game. Nurse bounced back after tough first 2 goals. Oil in 6. LFJ says Coach Mike. Let's go to Brock B. Brock B all over it. The emotions, the analysis, and the eloquent texts from Brock B says, massive credit to this team tonight. Nervous start, but nothing but respect for what we saw tonight. Perry and McLeod were massive additions, and I thought Broberg was very strong. His skating and breakouts made a big difference, helping the Oilers break cycles. Leaving for Dallas tomorrow morning. Go Oil from Brock. Brock B, safe travels. I know basically half of the people that are making the trek leave at like 6 a.m., and then the other half at about 3:30. So hopefully there's no issues getting out of Edmonton down to Dallas, because I know coming up from Dallas to Edmonton, a ton of people had some big-time issues getting up here and were late. Let's go to Fergie's Prostate. Says, how does the dangerous check in the back on Bouchard not draw a penalty? Disgraceful referee non-call. That's from Fergie's Prostate. Zach Hyman got away with one tonight, Fergie, and he buried Jason Robertson from behind. No call on that one either. But Bouchard took that one. I think he smacked his face on the glass. They put the whistles away, that's for sure, in the third period. Donnie M says, did you hear about the shitburger pass on Yanni's goal? I did. I laughed. I thought it was funny. Thank you, Donnie M. Let's go to this one. And it's from Two Line Pass, who says, Edmonton's depth showed up tonight. PK was unreal again. Big kudos to Yan, Mark Brown, and McLeod. Broberg looked like he was solid, and Skinner was locked in. That was from 2-line pass. All right, Zach, to come. We have more audio and video to get to. Let's go to the Dallas Stars. Who do we have?
Well, all we got from the Dallas Stars is their coach, Pete DeBoer. Let's hear what he had to say.
Going both ways, but is there a way to better prepare your team for the sharp momentum swings that are clearly winning games in this series?
Yeah, I think everyone's trying to prepare your team. You're 3 rounds in, so, yeah, I don't understand that question. What do you mean prepare? What do you mean prepare your team?
Well, I guess what we're seeing is when it turns, both teams are having a real hard time handling when that momentum gets rolling. So is there a better way?
You got 2 good teams going at it. You got 2 good teams going at it. That I don't have an answer to that.
Second row left, Mike.
I'll give you another one. You can't have any update on Chris Tanev?
No, blocked a shot, couldn't finish. So fingers crossed. Hopefully he'll be good for the next game, game 6 or.
And then
game 5.
Whatever.
Game 5. Feels like 12.
And then any feeling on the power play? They're obviously killing penalties very well, but
yeah, power play was a symptom of the rest of our game. We got up 2-0, got the start we wanted, but I don't think we were playing well or had enough guys playing at a high enough level that was real. Having said that, Rupe Hinn's breakaway, we might have had one other chance where you extend that lead to 3-0. Probably a lot like the game before where they have the power play. If they go to 3-0, maybe that switches things. We didn't, and the rest of the game they were the better team. That's the bottom line.
Other questions for Pete? We'll go second row on the right, Andrew.
I know a bit raw at the moment, but knowing that you're through 4, you still have home ice.
Yeah.
Happy to be 2-2 at this point.
Yeah, we came here and got a split, got home ice back. It's 2 out of 3 to go to the Stanley Cup final. This isn't supposed to be easy, and it's not supposed to be pretty. As much, preparation as we can do to manage momentum swings and things like that. You get the 4 best teams in the league left. That's what it's going to look like, and you got to find a way to come out on top. If it takes 7 games in overtime, it takes 7 games in overtime.
Back to Mike on the left.
Does the fact you've been through this so many times in this playoffs help a lot as you go back home?
Yeah, it helps, but we still got to get the job done. You got to go down, you got to go home, you got to execute. We got to play a better game than we did tonight.
Yeah, the shorthanded goal. Oh, sorry.
Yeah, that's all right. Go ahead.
The shorthanded goal, looking at it as a coach, do you see things there that shouldn't have happened, or is that just something that happened?
What I didn't like, the shorthanded goal, I didn't like how we played the 2-on-1, but, we take a shot, it hits our own guy, goes to them. There's not much you can do on that. I really disliked the first 2 goals. I thought we had an even rush. We kind of fell on our goalie, gave him a free one on the first one. The second one, we lose 2 board battles on the way up the ice. They end up behind us. So those are the 2 that I disliked more than the shorty.
Front right, Eric.
Pete, is Hakanpää progressing? Is he a possibility if Chris Tanev can't go? Or
we'll see. He's on the trip with us, so we'll see.
How confident are you that you can fill that void if Chris can't go?
Well, we'll have to. Next man up. They're that time of year. Someone's got to step in and do it if he can't.
Okay, that's Pete DeBoer and the next man up thing. Understandable, obviously. We hear it a lot, and logically that's what happens. But Chris Tanev leads the NHL in the postseason in blocks with 68 going into action, and blocked a shot tonight, and it kept him out of the third period. He's been excellent for them. Defensive stalwart, warrior, does everything he can to prevent goals, and that would be a big blow to them. Already out, missing Hakanpää and Alex Petrovic, making his return to the NHL. Great story. Had a great conversation with Petch earlier. Good North Side boy from Edmonton. Nice to see him back in the NHL, but that's a big ask. Super big ask, and Petch has done what he could. But if Chris Tanev can't go, that is a huge hole that potentially might be there in Game 5. But knowing Chris Tanev, I feel like if he can strap up his skates, move his arms around, and kind of touch the puck and block shots and be solid defensively, the guy's going to play. He played basically with one arm in that series with the Flames and Oilers 2 years ago. It was a minor miracle he could actually shoot the puck, and he played his ass off then. So it takes a lot to take that guy out of the lineup. I expect him to be in there unless it's such a severe injury that he can't go. Just my 2 cents on it, but you could hear Pete DeBoer there talking about the potential loss there. They'll address it when they need to. Both teams heading back to Dallas for Game 5 on Friday. Zach DeCum, are you ready to get to some business? I just want to check in with you first.
Yeah, I am good to go.
All right, we're going to start with the big save of the game, brought to you by Christopher Boyle. Great to have Chris Boyle on board with us here on the Oil Stream pre- and post-game show. The big save of the game presented by Christopher Boyle. Business owner, tax saver. Take care of your family with Christopher Boyle, an experienced advisor with over 17 years in the business. Safeguard yourself and your family with comprehensive coverage for tax-free benefits during hospitalization or a fracture or a broken bone. You'll get benefits paid from day one of the incident, so you don't have to worry about the costs and loss of income due to hospitalization. Preserve your income and protect your paycheck by visiting www.christopherboyle.net. All right, Zach DeCum, what is our big save of the game presented by Christopher Boyle?
Well, overall, there was only really a couple that stood out to me. One was the Jake Oettinger one with the stick on McDavid. I'm not going to count that as a save. I'm not sure if they actually did count that as a save because it was a stick out of his hand. But the one that I'm going to go with is Stuart Skinner on Evgeny Dadonov. The pad save, low pad save. And I actually have the clip here, just a 4-second clip on Twitter. Derek Van Diest, good friend of EST, posted it. So here is the save right now. And it was a nice save.
Big save of the game. Look at you. Look at you busting out the clip. If you didn't catch it, it was a sprawling Skinner. Dadonov was going down, still gets his stick on the puck. It was bouncing in the crease. Skinner kicks out the right leg, and that is our Christopher Boyle big save of the game. You're showing highlights now. I like this.
Yeah, unfortunately, no audio, for that, but hey.
Baby steps,
save.
big boy.
Baby steps, of
Baby
course.
steps.
Of course.
There you go. All right, let's get to some more texts. And we will go and hear from, is it McDavid or who is it? Draisaitl and Janmark soon?
Yeah, Draisaitl and Janmark.
Okay, I want to read a few texts first before we go back to the Hall of Fame room in Rogers Place. So let's go to the Gordfather. Formerly known as 7th Best Gord is now the Gordfather. Your wish is my command, Gordfather, who wants to say that although Knobloch looks composed on the bench, that guy must have huge brass balls. He's made some huge decisions with goaltending and lineups this playoffs. All the credit to him. All right, Gordfather, nice one. I like it. Safety Bob says, holy crap, not going to lie, when Dallas scored their second, you could have heard a mouse fart. But when Janmark scored, you couldn't hear yourself think, what a game, well worth the drive up. You better stay on the air for the next 3 hours, LFG. Safety Bob, happy to provide a little bit of companionship with you as you make the drive back home. And please drive safely, buddy, and get home safe as well. Glad you had a great time. Redbeard says, well, I said 6-2. 5-2 will do as well. Let's go. Redbeard, old Scott Laurie, brought his son to his first game. It must have been awesome. This text coming in says, Oilers to Stars after game 3, and it's like the Uno reverse, that card. So I've seen a few people using that, and it was very much like that. Indeed, for the Oilers, this highly unpredictable for sure. Let's go to this one. Josh says, what did I say? You spot Bob Stauffer on the streets of Edmonton and good things happen. That's Josh from Birch and Bear. Good to see Josh yesterday, who spotted me in the A&W parking lot. We had a great chat. Go check out Birch and Bear. Great spot on Jasper Avenue, 119th Street in the Pearl Tower. Absolutely tremendous. Great stuff. Good people. Love it. It's a deadly combination. Good people, good food, good times. Let's go to this text. Says, Oilers that start games like trash and finish strong are way better than the ones that start strong and finish like garbage. Worked so well as a formula during the regular season. Yes, highly stressful. And then Calgary Glenn has this one. That was a hell of a game for the Oil. They didn't crack. It just kept fighting after going down 2 early. Shout out to the PK. Stellar. Huge shorthanded goal. Brown making up for the regular season. Nurse, tough. Dashed 2 early, but played great. 10 6-0 cuppers down. Ooh, 6 to go. And those things look tasty. My last 6 o'clocker lager was devoured by my brother who showed up unexpectedly tonight, but I'm glad he enjoyed it. All right, Zach to come. Who are we going to hear from next, pal?
Well, we got to hear from Leon Draisaitl and Matthias Janmark, who both had strong games. Here they are now.
Pretty late in the second period. What did you think of the way you guys locked it down in the third?
Really good. Rolled lines. Everyone staying fresh, stayed above them, made the right decisions at the lines. And, I don't know, what did we give up? Maybe 1 look on the power play in the slot. So very mature, very well done.
We'll go fourth row on the right.
Leon, what do you think turned in the first period after that tough start for you guys?
I think maybe we were a little sleepy for a couple minutes there. I would say maybe a little unfortunate too, maybe the second one, but found our legs, got going a little bit, started to play our game, and stayed fresh, rolled lines, and obviously we're a tough team to handle when we play that way.
Fourth row on the left, Jason.
Matthias, the 23 consecutive kills for your group, very good sticks, and then tonight you add in the shorthanded goal. What did you see on that play, and what have you liked so much about your penalty kill?
Yeah, we've been confident lately. Have a good kill in this series, so we got them a little bit on their heels today, I think. We played to our structure there on the goal, and we got a big block from Nurse, and then Brownie picked it up, and we were able to go the other way.
Leon, early in the year, they always asked the penalty killers what it was like to go up against you guys in practice. You see your penalty kill, and I know you were part of that last year. What impresses you as a power play guy about your penalty kill right now?
I think just how in sync they are and their routes, and how detailed they are with stick positioning and being in lanes, and obviously at times having to sacrifice. It seems like they're controlling the pace of the power play almost sometimes, and that's really, really hard to do for kills. And obviously all the guys that are out there are doing a great job.
We'll go front right, Josh.
Leon, just a word on Corey Perry. It can't be easy for a guy with his resume to sit out to you about how he handled it and coming back in and on your line having a big impact.
Yeah, really good. He's obviously a very smart player. He's got God knows how many playoff games under his belt. So, he brings a lot of maturity and very smart hockey player. So I thought all the guys that were coming in, which is not easy to do at this time of year, did a great job tonight.
Second row left, Derek.
Hey, Leon. In a similar vein, I want to ask you about the decisions your coach is making. And it's been all year. It seems like every decision he's making is working out. Like whether he decided to change the goalkeepers for goalies for a couple games, or bring guys in and out of the lineup. What is it about the decisions he's making? Are the players coming in feel like they need to reward those decisions, or how do you kind of see the way it's succeeding? I guess.
Well, first of all, I think that our depth is good enough that it's hard for him to make these decisions. If you take someone out, you have someone waiting outside your lineup that's ready to go and wants to make an impact, and that's good enough to make an impact. And that's what good teams have, and that's what winning teams have. And obviously, Nauber pushes the right buttons, or has the right lineup decisions most of the time. So, he's done a good job.
And Matthias, coming into this series, a lot of people were talking about how deep they were and what their depth was and how they had 4 lines. Did you guys almost take that as a personal challenge, because you guys are a pretty deep team as well, and you're getting contributions from your 3rd and 4th lines?
Well, yeah, yes and no. I think our teams are built different. I don't think they have the top players that we have. So I think it's obvious that they have 3 lines pretty much that are A, B, and C. We have, the first line and our top 6 that scores, so it's hard to challenge in that way, but for sure we knew that we could contribute, and maybe in different ways than their depth. But for sure, it's a challenge, and I think we've been up for it so far.
Second row right hand.
All right, that was Leon Draisaitl and Matthias Janmark, both guys with a goal tonight. Janmark, a shorty. Draisaitl scoring shortly after Janmark. Draisaitl +2, 3 shots, 2 hits, 19:48 time on ice. Really a much improved night on the faceoff dot for Draisaitl as well, 58.8%. He had been struggling recently, and we know he's had that cast on his finger, the taped up finger, but no worse for wear tonight on the dot. And then when he had that opportunity, he fired it home on a nice feed from Zach Hyman. Janmark finishes up the night with the goal, the shorthanded one, 2 shots, 1 hit, 11:02 time on ice, help contributing on the PK. Certainly the Oilers penalty kill 2-4-2 and perfect all series long, 8 games without giving up a goal on the PK. That is a franchise record. I think they're up to 23 straight kills, if I am not mistaken. All right, 780-218-9999. Let's get to a few texts, and then we'll have to get the player of the game. And then we do have Chris Knobloch, who we will hear a little bit from as well. Keep those coming in via the Nasty Chat as well. Nasty Chat, you guys have been good tonight. Well done. Kudos. Kudos to the Nasty Chat. I've enjoyed it. Everything I've seen in there has been pretty good. Strummy was asking if it seemed quiet on the broadcast in-house, like when the crowd was getting fired up. I didn't hear anything from the broadcast. I was at the game pretty much the entire time, and then quickly whipped over to my place, the Satellite Studios, to get going for the post-game show. So in-house, outside of when they were down 2-0, when it was really quiet, Dallas did a good job taking the crowd out of the game. But as soon as Edmonton got that first one, it got really loud, and then the second one even louder, and then the third and fourth super loud, and they were feeling it tonight. So in-house, it was damn loud in there for sure. So I don't know what the mix was like on the broadcast. Didn't hear it. If you can help Strummy out, fire him a note on the Nasty Chat, please. And thank you, Strummy, Bumblebee Tuna, my friend. All right, let's go to Dash texting in. Dash babysat YouTube Trev at the game tonight. You did it to yourself, Dash. Says, when was the last time an Edmonton Oiler had 12 hits in a game? Nurse had that tonight. I feel like there's been a few times, but yes, good point. Nice to highlight Nurse had a better game. And I appreciate that. Thank you for babysitting and taking YouTube Trev out to the game. All right, let's go to DW. Says, I was questioning the lines a lot before puck drop, and Knobloch stuffed me in a locker. He's made amazing decisions and has everyone earning their spot. Thanks for the text, DW. Let's go to Coin from Hampton, New Brunswick. First ever text, just sends in a picture of Randy Marsh with a wheelbarrow and a big old set of cajones, as we like to say. Thank you, Coin from Hampton, New Brunswick. We're putting it on the map, on the EST, huge map of the world. Thank you. Appreciate it. Pretty funny. Well done. All right, Zach, to come. Let's do the player of the game. Brought to you, as always, by Damon Bunting, RE/MAX Elite. Damon Bunting, consistent top-producing realtor in Greater Edmonton and among Western Canadian RE/MAX realtors. He and his team would love to help you find that right home or make the move from your current home. He's community-driven and understands what it takes to make a difference in our city. Check him out, DamonBunting.com, or visit his Instagram at Damon Bunting Real Estate. Zach, to come, take it away, pal.
Man, there's so many players that I can go to with this game. I mean, Ryan McLeod played a fantastic game. Connor Brown played pretty good as well, and Corey Perry played quite well too. But I'm going to have to go to Darnell Nurse with this one because of the bounce back that he had. He was very short with the media today, and it was a very interesting day for him. You could tell that he wasn't having it, and he needed that game to come back and play stable. And I thought he was. He was on the ice for that first goal, and he was a -2 right away in the game. But he got on his horse and started playing and ended out in the game even. But he had 1 assist, over 19 minutes on ice and 12 hits, which is big for him. And I love that he showed up, and you got to give credit where credit is due. There's a lot of hate on him today, but I'm going to give the player of the game for Damon Bunting out to Darnell Nurse.
The sentimental choice. Darnell Nurse gets the Damon Bunting RE/MAX Elite player of the game from Zach to come. I will give some credit out. I'm not doing the player of the game. It's all yours, buddy. And I like it. Okay, I get it. I'm with you. I will say that these two guys on the back end tonight were studs. and that was Matthias Ekholm and Evan Bouchard. They were pretty damn good in this game tonight. So +3 each, and logging, well, for Bouchard, 23-46. For Ekholm, 24-26. Both guys with a goal. That's big-time minutes in a big-time game, and they came through. 2 shots for Bouchard, 2 hits. 3 shots for Ekholm, 1 hit. Honorable mention, but Darnell Nurse is your player of the game, brought to you by Damon Bunting and Zach Decum. Big smile from Zach Decum. All right, keep those texts coming in. We're going to wrap up with a bunch of them, but before we do that, we're going to hear a little bit from Oilers head coach Chris Knobloch, who people keep saying has brass cojones, and he made some interesting moves, and they did completely pay off for the Oil tonight. Here he is.
Your team comes out pretty flat. You're down 2-0. You don't have a shot 8 minutes in. What are you thinking on the bench, and what changed for your group?
Yeah, I was thinking it was going to be a long night. It didn't look very good. We, things weren't going our way. They looked much sharper, making plays. I'm not sure which line it was that kind of got things going. Obviously, the big turning point was the McLeod goal, but it wasn't the start. But you've seen this right through the series, where both teams have absolutely dominated, and then the other team has dominated. Like, it's been back and forth, and we didn't have our start, and which is hard to overcome, because you're down 2-0 in a game like this. It's hard to overcome, but I think we just got back to the way we were supposed to be playing. I think a lot of it had to do with maybe the turnovers at the blue line, where we weren't getting pucks in deeper, and they were just quick transition, and then we're just we're always in a bad position for that next shift.
Front row left.
Chris, what did you think of Corey Perry's game tonight, and how well he's handled the last couple of weeks of not being in the lineup?
First of all, Corey was great tonight. I thought he played really well and what we wanted, and I think Corey's very consistent in his game. He played tonight a lot like he'd been playing before, and you probably ask, like, well, why am I taking him out of the lineup? It was just kind of what we needed, and who we're playing, and who else is playing well, and but how he played tonight, that's what we were expecting, and we loved it. I liked his puck play. I thought he was good, composed on the wall, but even now getting away the games that he didn't play, he was still contributing to our team. Great mentor for our younger guys, even our older guys, just settling things down and being positive. So, great to have on a team, whether, he's dressed, he's not, but tonight having him in the lineup again was beneficial for us.
Fourth row left, Jason.
Chris, this is Cam's question for you. What's more important at this time of year, a good start or a good finish?
Oh, it's definitely the finish. You want to have the end. But that being said, just because the hole might be too big to finish strong. So, I'll say finish tonight, because obviously that's the part of the game that we play better at. But down 2-0, I'm not sure how many times we can pull that off.
Tonight, Darnell, maybe his most physical game of the playoffs, I think, just looking at the hit sheet, but just watching the game itself. He ended up with 12 hits, had 3 blocks, had a key assist, and the 1 block that led to the shorthanded goal. What did you see about his game? Was he just more engaged in your eyes, or did you see other things that you liked?
Well, I saw a lot of the good things. The start of his game couldn't have been more unfortunate for him. He's in a position to defend a 2-on-1. They score. Face-off that we lose goes in, and just a lawful bounce. And, that could have really set him back. That would have been really hard for a lot of guys to recover after everything's been going on. But I thought it was his best game in the series. Maybe in the playoffs. I thought he was engaged, yes, but I thought he was moving his feet. One thing Darnell is he one of the best in the league on covering space with his speed, his reach, and then finishing plays because of his strength. Those three attributes is, what really sets him apart from other defensemen. And tonight, those things I'm just talking about, I thought he was really, really good at that. It was nice to see him joining the rush a little bit. There's one that bounced over his stick. He had a good scoring chance. A lot of block shots, which he's always had. But it was a very, very good game from him.
Say in that same row, Frank.
Chris, one of the big storylines in this series was the depth that Dallas has. But when you get moments like you got tonight and shifts from Janmark, not on the penalty kill, but at even strength in the third, the lineup decisions and the tough choices that you've had to make, what does that say about the depth that you have?
Yeah, no, I think our depth, we appreciate what our depth is. Dallas's depth is maybe a little bit different. Their depth are guys that are more playing on the power play. Obviously, special roles too. Our depth is, defensive responsibility, especially on our penalty kill. Now, lately, they've been coming up with some key goals. Connor Brown has been part of 3 goals in the last 4 games. Janmark tonight, he's had a lot of good games this series or through these playoffs. Tonight was another one. He was really good for us. So, maybe our depth players aren't as flashy, don't have as many points, but for the value of our team, we appreciate them.
4th row on the right.
Chris, your penalty kill continues to be lights out in the playoffs. You only had to kill 2 tonight, but obviously a big momentum swing on that shorthanded goal. Can you just kind of talk about the penalty kill tonight and what you saw on that shorthanded goal?
Well, you think about, key moments of the game. I believe that shorthanded goal was the game-winning goal. That was a big turning point in the game. Another key moment was we got a 4-2 lead and we take a penalty, and this is their opportunity to get back in the game. It's their opportunity to make it 4-3 with plenty of time left on the clock, and we come up big with another kill. No matter who we've had in the lineup, we've had a lot of guys in and out, those penalty killers, but everyone's stepped up and take a lot of pride in that job. And it's very important to have a good penalty kill. It's good to be a power play, but it seems keeping the puck out of the net's more important.
Front row left, Bob.
Okay, that was Chris Knobloch speaking to the media following his team's 5-2 win in Game 4. Edmonton off to Dallas, tied at 2 in the series. We're in for a good finish to this bad boy. Going the distance, I think, and it's certainly going 6. All right, keep the text coming in, 780-218-9999. And if you're watching Nasty Chat, Zach DeCombe keeps throwing polls up there. I like the engagement. That has been good. I've seen a bunch of people talking about Kevin Bieksa's comment, Edmonton meat because we're raw, dead, and dumb. It's funny how quickly, listen, I'm not going to defend everybody, but I'm part of the Edmonton media. But it's funny how quickly somebody who Edmonton fans loathe in Kevin Bieksa fall in love and fawn over him because he goes for the low-hanging fruit. I'm just going to say that. It was a funny line. Good on him, but come on. Now I'm saying, he didn't let Ron put the Oilers jersey, didn't let him lean it against the back on the ground. Okay, that's nice. Good touch by Kevin Bieksa. Ironically, of all people, the Canuck and Duck, who absolutely terrorized the Oilers, and then he takes a shot at Edmonton media, and all of a sudden, everybody, Kevin Bieksa, we love you. I get it. He plays the game, and he played it well tonight. But come on, you guys. Come on. Anyway, it's all good. 780-218-9999. Yes, I did. I went and listened to it. It was funny. Let's go to this one. Peter says, the comeback for Connor Brown has been incredible. The contract is almost worth it. Almost. Let's expletive go, boys. Knobloch used his lines very efficiently tonight. Time on ice was very well distributed. Ryan from Saskatchewan says, I like the double shift by Knobloch in the first period with Leon Perry McLeod line after they scored. Really flipped the momentum. Team stuck with it. Played an excellent game after a poor start. Still a long way to go, but got to be happy with that. That's from Ryan from Sask. This one from Will says, how about that Atco Energy power play? I mean, penalty kill. Nurse's gap control and ability to close quick was impressive, and Knobloch spreading out the depth gave us solid lines. to roll. Oil in 6. That's from Will. Buzz in Nebraska says Fogle out for foreseeable future. I don't know about that. That's a 21-goal scorer. But the lineup that got the job done tonight, Buzz in Nebraska, worked nicely. Let's go to Dirty Curdy. He says, great pushback after the rough start. Besides the goal, I would actually bring in Fogle for McLeod. Still refused to lay the body and lost some key battles in his usual cowardly manner, preferring to wave his stick. Do they keep Broberg in or allow Vinny to redeem on the road? PK and line 4 writing a legendary tale. Dirty Curdy. This one out of Sun City West, Arizona. It is a lovely place. I've been there a few times. Says, howdy, guys, from Sun City West, Arizona. Excellent win, and the Kass intro was priceless and spot on. Go Oilers. No Tanev. Would be a big hole and open the door on Friday. Thanks for the text out of Sun City AZ, or Sun City West, actually. This one from Dave the Welder says, when someone's offering me a tofu burger, it's kind of a crap burger. Dave the Welder, good point. Some people love tofu, not me, and evidently not Dave the Welder. Let's go to Maple Jed. Says, such a good effort tonight. That was the exact recipe to beat the Stars. What do you guys make of the reffing? Power plays 12-4 in favor of Dallas. Refs are missing some obvious calls while calling soft ones against Oil. Maple Jed, no surprise. Reffing, unpredictable, not particularly good. Right across the board, all day, every day, unfortunately. Let's go to Thrill House saying, looking at the ice time allocated tonight, Nobbs has set the team up well going forward. Big props to Holloway throwing the body all night, setting an example for others to follow. All right, a couple more. This one out of Calgary says, I still hate Bieksa, LOL. Gazdick is a better analyst. Rudy is good too. I like Kelly. He's a great guy. And then this one says, boys, lost all respect for Bieksa. How can you say that Nurse had a great game? Luckily for my 9-year-old son, the Oilers won in spite of Nurse. He made another horrible pass to cause an icing that eventually turned into a power play for Dallas, the one that they got the shorty on. What a great game. My son went home happy. Stanley Cup, here we come, says that texter. Oof. Lots of work to go, but two potential wins away, and they could be there for the first time since 2006. Same for the Stars, first time since 2020. Both teams hungry, very even series. We'll see how it goes. Last word goes to AJ in Montreal. Says, Oilers got to win the next 2. DeBoer is a Game 7 monster. Yes, he is perfect in Game 7. So we'll see how it goes. Or the streak ends. You never know. These playoffs have been crazy. They have been unpredictable and nuts. All right. Zach DeCum, any final thoughts from you?
Well, I did keep track of the polls throughout the night that I placed. The first poll I did was, does Broberg play next game? 77% said yes. 22 and whatever percent, I know that adds up to 99, said no through 185 votes. And then were you surprised about the lineup change? 206 people voted. 63% yes, and 36% said no. I was surprised. Pre-game show, I was a little, confused, almost at a loss for words. But they showed up, and player of the game votes, 122 votes in that first one I did. 43% went to Draisaitl, only 8% to McDavid, 14% to Ekholm, and 33% to others. So I did another vote. And in that second vote for Janmark, 51% of people said Janmark for the ones who voted other through 108 votes. So quite a few candidates for player of the game that through the polls, at least, the people spoke. So very interesting. We love the polls. I like doing the polls, at least. So it's fun to do.
All right, let's go. A couple of texts. I saw a few that snuck in here under the wire. You guys are sneaky. I love it. Good show tonight. Lots of fun and a big audience, which is fantastic. We thank you guys so much, whether you listened on iTunes or iHeartRadio, TuneIn, and, of course, the Edmonton Sports Talk media player, or you watched on YouTube. Norman at Combine says Zach is pushing for YTT to step up his game. Yeah, the polls were funny. Let's go. RBF says, hey, I wouldn't want to be giving the media the time of day either if they just finished ripping me a new one the day before. LOL. I know they're just doing their jobs, but still. Yes, RBM. It's a thankless thing, and yes, you can't win. Not on every night, but hey, makes things interesting, that's for sure. You know what, though? This part of being the media is a lot of fun, interacting with the viewers and listeners and the audience. Absolutely tremendous. A big thank you to everybody. Andrew in London wants to know if his text was read. Zach Tacum, I'm going to read it. My old man was fired up after the brutal start tonight, even more fired up when Leon buried the fourth goal. He was heavy on the table slaps. Not easy to come back like that at pivotal Game 4, seeing as they beat themselves Game 3 to a degree. This team can win in many ways. They started moving the puck. Now go take Game 5. Rogers Place in Oil Country will be rocking. Former Knights Perry and Bush obviously fired right up tonight, as was 2 for 2 tonight in this household, as their London Knights beat the host Saginaw Spirit 4-2 and are off to the Memorial Cup, I should say. Let's go. Yes, Andrew in London, Ontario, super excited. Both of his teams win tonight. Edmonton 5, Dallas 2. This series tied at 2, going to 5 in Big D. We'll be on the air Friday night. We'll let you know when and where. Actually, Hudson's West Edmonton Mall. Join us. Mini watch party. That'll do it. For Zach Tacum and Matty Kassian, I'm Tom Gazzola. Said, I need a beer. Have a good night, everyone. See you tomorrow.